Yeah, we could be like Bob Ross on Twitch.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not gonna full
Exactly
screen
what
this
I'm
because when I full
thinking.
screen this, the quality is just miserable. So I'm gonna like max screen without full screening, if that makes sense. Um,
Okay.
just like on the
Wait, why is the
recording so that we can
quality
see this
miserable
better.
when you full screen?
I don't know, but it just looks terrible for me when I full screen it. I think it's because it's 420p or 480
Uh,
or whatever. So like when I go full screen, the
420p.
oh my goodness. All right, so
Lel.
what we're what we're doing is we're going to be looking for instances where you're
I saw that.
struggling to play with your team specifically. Um, so did the video start for you? It's playing.
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at this then.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, finally got somewhere. All right, so
That's me coming up right there.
yep,
And
I
like
see.
just
Nice,
doing
nice
doing
whiff there. Nice
whatever
whiff
the
there.
fuck that was.
Nice whiff. Not a terrible play in that situation, although your forwards really didn't give you anywhere to pass to, which kind of sucked because you like when you're in the corner there with that. Like if we go back and
Yeah.
look at that, and you look at the mini map, and you look at like where your forwards are, because like part of what I want to do here is convince you that like you're not doing as bad as you think, and that it's partly like the team that's just bad. So watch again if this comes in the corner, and specifically watch the mini map here, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah, you have
you
like
have it
both
when you
auto and
missed
burn.
when you miss there, right? Do you see you have it paused?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna play it a little bit more. You miss there, and now you come up and you get it. Now look at Auto, Burn, and McJava. What are they all doing?
They're all just staring at me.
The three of them are clumped up in the middle, all covering one guy watching you.
I think that's my problem. I get like stage fright.
So, because your team just sits there and watches
Yeah.
you and does nothing. Like, I understand that like they probably expected Pittsburgh to have the puck here, so that's probably why they're in the middle there
Yeah.
covering that guy. But like, there's three people on that guy. You need one person there. Maybe you can have two people there if you really want, because of how far back the two defensemen are playing. But
Hmm.
like Otto or McJava should be like around all the way around, like on the other side, like starting to get open for a pass. They
Yeah.
just sit there and
Because
continue
like
to
at the
watch
same
you.
time, like if they were around, that would be covering someone.
Yeah. So it's they don't they don't really
Look
help
at
you
this.
a whole lot there.
Look at this
So
giant clump.
that's
Like
the
look at
first
the mini map.
that's what's sticking out to me here right now is that you guys aren't communicating your assignments.
Oh, we do not at all.
Okay, that's the first thing that it like this is gonna sound like really simple, but you have no idea how helpful it is, and it's literally the only reason that I've been on two cup winning teams back to back is because I'm on teams that communicate a lot, and a lot of that comes
Yeah.
from Dalfin and Dick Dug and I. We tend to talk a lot during our games, and you'd be amazed at the difference that makes when you're constantly communicating with each other. And I don't mean like sitting there like I'm over here, I'm going over here, I'm going over here now. Just so you
Yeah.
know, I'm over here now. Like just like communicating like actual information. Like in that situation where all three of you were in the middle, all one person needs to do, like McJaba as an example, or Otto, or Burn. Burn was really the closest one to him and was actually in the best defensive position on that guy in the middle back on that play. If Burn just says, I've got this guy,
Yeah.
Otto and McJaba can go do something else. They can go help you break out like at all a little bit. And like that's the first thing I'm seeing right away here is that you're getting just none of that. There's no like I can
Yeah,
tell
the
there's no
fact that you can
communication.
tell that we're not communicating at all just by looking at us is pretty sad.
But it's like that helps you more than any amount of skill is the ability to work together as a team and understand where you need to be relative to where your teammates are. And right now, it looks
Yeah.
like you guys have none of that.
I'd agree with that. Like I've
Okay.
always been like shitty at communicating just because like I'm not a fan of really using a mic in video games since I
Yeah.
started like when I was a young child and I'd get like intimidated.
You just
But
gotta remember, like, these are people you'll probably never see in your life.
yeah, no.
So, like, if you make a fool of yourself here, like, who cares? Nobody you ever have to face on a daily basis is ever gonna know.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm starting
you
to
can
be
let
more
all those
comfortable.
secret dank memes come out of when you're
Yeah,
on the team speak with your team,
like
and
masturbating
just
to my best friend's
yeah,
sister's panties.
yeah.
But
That's gonna be in the recording. So
that's I mean, Mitza
I'll
has
I'll
told everyone
I
already.
might cut that out. I probably
You
won't,
might.
honestly. Um, anyway, so
But
yeah, that's like cleared away the first issue I'm seeing, and no matter what, it's impossible to play to your maximum effectiveness when your team isn't communicating. So I can guarantee you that's a theme that's going to come up more frequently. If we're seeing it here in the first 15 seconds of the game,
yeah,
we're going to see it a lot more, and I'm sure that you'd feel a lot more comfortable if you understood where you needed to be, and a lot of that's going to be based off of where your team is. Especially as a defenseman, you're doing a lot of filling in the gaps that are left by the forwards. So
yeah,
them communicating what's going on is really, really crucial. If you don't have that, you're not going to succeed at all, personally or as a team.
yeah. Like none of us talk in TeamSpeak. It's
Okay.
really kind of sad.
The first thing I'd suggest for you then is just talk more. Like it's gonna be awkward because you're gonna be the only one doing it for a while. But if you get into the habit of just like saying, in that case, like I have the puck, like somebody get open, or like I'm gonna try and skate it up, or I'll cover this guy in the center, or I'll cover this guy in the slot,
Hmm.
I'll cover this guy in the boards. If you just start saying things like that, other people will slowly follow suit. Like Otto and Burn are a bit more quiet, but the two of them do speak, especially Otto, and so does McJabba.
The
So
two of them do have the capacity of voice.
they do speak. I have heard them speak before. They have a mic. The more you can convince them to communicate, the more fun you're gonna have, and the more success you're gonna have. And those two are obviously related. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll keep watching here. We'll see what happens. Burn with the elite forecheck. Okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
let's back up here. I want to just look at that one more time because I want to see who has possession of the puck in this situation. Okay, right there. You see how McJabba is in front of Timu?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you need to recognize that he's going to get that, and you need to give him a passing opportunity that isn't burned. Because right now, there's two things he can do with this puck. He can send it around the boards, like behind the net, which Mr. U is going to pick off, or he can send it around to the left and hope that Gabe can't get there and hope that Burn gets to the boards in time. Those are really the only two options McJabba
Yeah.
has right now because he can't skate up and out with it because he's got Timu on his tail and he's got Gabe right there. He's got Lone Star right there. I wish you could see me drawing right now. I'm like drawing with my mouse,
No,
pretending like I have
like
that
I
big pen.
see
But
the map as well.
yeah, that's really like I don't know whether or not you do this, but you want to like when you drive, you're supposed to look in your
Yeah.
mirrors constantly. Like every like they tell you, I think every 3 to 5 seconds, you should like look in your
Yeah.
mirrors behind you and around you and whatnot. You want to do the same thing in hockey with a mini map. Like
I I look at the minimap more than I look at the actual
okay, good,
game,
good. That's the
except
correct
when the
answer.
puck is in our zone.
That's the good answer. I look at the mini map about 90% of the game. The only
Yeah,
time
me
I'm
too.
not watching the mini map is when I'm actually holding the puck or getting ready to receive a pass. And even when I'm receiving a pass, I use a lot of the mini map to like
Yeah.
judge where to place my stick initially. So it's
Like when I get stoned, like I think the minimap is the game and I forget the actual game.
yeah,
It's quite
yep.
trippy.
Okay, so I'm glad you do play like that. I assumed you did, but that does confirm my my assumption. Okay, so we're gonna watch the next 4 seconds. So McJabba has it, and look where you are the whole time.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there in the middle in front of the net. Now,
Yeah. That.
given that McJava does turn this over, you could make an argument that being in front of the net might not be necessarily a terrible spot in case Timo was able to get it away from him and wheel. But you have to trust your teammate. You have to trust that he's going to be able to get the puck. And if you back it up a little bit again to where we just were, you'll see that he does get the puck, and he tries to just turn and skate with it, like back across himself that way.
Yeah.
Whereas if you, instead of being in the middle there, if you're down on the boards, and the lower boards over there in the upper right hand corner of the minimap, if you sort of get what I mean there, like in that corner,
Yeah.
if you're in that corner, instead of just wheeling around, look at all that space over there. If you're just
Yeah.
over there in that general area, Jabba can just sling it around the boards to you. It doesn't even have to
Yeah,
be
that's
a
true.
really hard pass or anything. He can just sling it around the boards to you. And at this point, look where Gabe is. Gabe is turned the other way. Gabe's facing Burn because he's expecting a pass to come up to Burn. Mr. Yu and Trevko are so far back that neither one of them are going to be able to play defense on you before you can get the puck. And that would allow you to either get a pass off to Burn or Otto deeper in the zone, take a shot yourself, or skate with it a little bit and take a shot yourself. And you have a pretty good backhand shot, despite the fact that you might not necessarily believe so. And instead, what happens is McJaba tries too hard to do something by himself, loses it because he doesn't have anyone to pass to, because again, you go back and Gabe is covering Burns, so that's not an
Yeah.
option anymore. And he's totally handicapped. And what's he going to do in that situation? There's nothing he can do. So what
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
doing right now, where you're sitting in front of the net there, is you're reverting to a position that you feel safe in. You're reverting to
Yeah.
like a safe spot. And it's really, really hard to break that tendency, and even defensemen like Tays do it. But if you can like get in that situation, realize that your teammate has the puck, and go somewhere to get open. That's really the most important thing. Like if you see your teammate's going to get there first, trust your teammate and find open ice. And in that case, there's a ton of open ice over there that you could have taken advantage of that you don't wind up skating into. And instead, that's what winds up causing this play. Even though obviously, like, it's McJabo is the one who turns it over. Like, he turns it over because he has nowhere to go with it, and you could have given him an outlet there. So this is something that's going to take like a lot of just breaking your habits. Like it's a very habitual thing to do that, and like even
Yeah.
forwards you'll see who back check or who are like rotating back while defensemen go up on the rush, they'll do something very similar where they'll like sit in the middle, like in front of their net. And the reality is, like, you're really not helping anything there. All you're doing is you're
Yeah.
screening the goalie. Especially when your team has possession, there's no point in covering that. So go out, get open. It's going to feel awkward, and it's not something that's going to be natural for you. You're going to have to force yourself to do it. But if you can, like, take a step back from the game, like, realize the situation that's going on, and it's not anything really complex. It's not like there's like some weird bounce or something like that you have to react to. It's a fairly standard play. Just go find that open ice and skate to it, and give your teammate an option. And that would allow you to maintain possession on this opportunity instead of giving it away to Timo. So we'll continue to see what happens here. And thankfully for Jabba, he winds up getting it back.
So like that kind of shit was exactly like what I needed to hear, I think.
Yeah, and we'll watch through. If we don't see anything else that's like majorly different that's going to cause an issue, then we don't have to watch the entire thing. But that's definitely something that I think is going to help you guys in the long run. So I'm going to back it up. We'll watch that like sequence again, just
Okay.
so we can see what goes on here. So because
I
obviously
think
you
here
get you
this
get
is
scored
me
on.
like tipping that a bit forward.
Yeah, you have to come up and play that, which is good. That's good awareness on that to know, like, you're coming up, you see that happening, so you come up and you hit it out, which is great. And even though it's deflected, it's going over to those left boards where Otto and McJaba are going to be able to make a play on it. So like, it's not like you're necessarily in a threat there. Otto really should have done something more with it there than that. So this opportunity isn't really your fault.
And like here I
Trying
fuck
to
up.
see. Okay, so
Like that was like a team fuck up, to be fair.
Well, I don't necessarily think what you're doing is that wrong. Like, let's back it up a little bit. Can I slow this down? No, it won't let me watch it slow and sync that. It's a little annoying. So look what you're doing. If you look at your position on the minimap right now, you're taking the outside, so you're forcing him inside, which is
Yeah.
the right thing to do because look, you have a guy coming in from your
Mhm.
left, which is Otto, who should be able to take away the inside. And that's what you're doing. You're forcing him into Otto,
Yeah.
which is the right move. That's what you should do. Normally, if you don't have somebody there who is able to take the inside on him like that, then you want to force him outside, which I assume
Mhm.
you understand.
Mhm.
I don't really
Whenever there is like another of my players close, I'm gonna try to force the guy into
exactly,
him.
and you forced him into him, and you did a good job. Otto just misses it. Otto just didn't play it well. I mean, and it's a good move by Gabe. Like I don't want to take away
Yeah, no,
anything from
definitely.
the move by Gabe, but that's not really your fault. Like you played that about as well as you could have, given that you had another teammate there, because that's the best way to take on someone like Gabe is to slow him down and force him into a teammate, and that's what you
Mhm.
did. Your teammate just didn't make the play, and Gabe did make the play. So, and that's ultimately what's going to be the goal against here.
Or the block.
Well, it's a block, but it turns into a goal against because
Oh, yeah,
Tickle
probably.
has to come out of his net to make that block, and now again, situation of you guys not communicating. Look at the guy who scores the goal, which I think it's Trevcro who scores, who's all the way across right now. There's nobody on him. McJaba's in the middle doing absolutely nothing. Otto's got Mr. U behind him, and then you and Tickle are both behind the net with Gabe right now. So I want to like watch where you skate in on that. So right there, you see how Tickle still got that?
Mm-hmm.
You can skate around and cover
Yeah.
something else. Like you don't need to be covering there. You've got a guy. You've still got a guy between Gabe and Timu right there, who's literally in your crease playing goalie more than anyone on your team is. Um, and you've got Otto behind covering Mr. U. So you could be somewhere else, and honestly, Jabba could be somewhere else too. One of
Yeah.
the two of you could be somewhere else. Um,
Yeah, we're both pretty useless right
and
there.
that's another situation of communication where like you guys have to amongst yourselves understand and explain to each other that like Tickle's playing defense on that, and instead all three of you or even four of you, because Otto does it too, try to collapse on a centering pass there,
Mm-hmm.
and look what happens. The guy who's totally wide open just puts it in the empty net, and
Yeah.
that happens because of the initial turnover that starts way back here. That's really the biggest problem is the turnover that starts like even farther back. I didn't go back enough,
Buddy
but
joined your channel.
I'm
here,
gonna head off.
all
GG
right,
now.
yep, GG.
See ya.
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
Special shout out to Delphin there. Anyway, gee, we're only a minute in. Yeah, we won't do the whole game.
That can fuck up a lot.
We won't do the whole game. But it really, if Otto makes the play there and helps you out a little bit on that one, then this play doesn't happen. If you and McJabba and Tickle end up communicating better on what's going on right here, that play doesn't happen. And notice nobody falls back into the net.
Yeah.
You all, like the one person who was in the net, who I think was Byrne, just skates away. Then literally all four of you are skating away and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Which is another like communication thing where like you have to stay in that net until Tickle's back. And because you had four people over there, I'm gonna go back to that like one frame if I can, where there's just four of you right there covering that middle pass. It's coming up right here in a second. I'll try to pause on it, but right there,
Mm-hmm.
all five of you are in like 1/10 of the space on the ice with
Yeah, that's true.
with two red players there. It's a 5-on-2 right there. And because Trevcro is so open, and honestly, even Mr. U, if Gabe was able to get it through Otto there, to the outside of Otto and get it to Mr. U. Mr. U's got a clean shot. I mean, obviously there's a lot of sticks in the way, but no matter which side he goes to, like these defensemen are wide open and there's nobody over there to cover him. And that's something that, again, not your fault, but you as a team need to understand that situation, recognize that situation, and adjust to that. And you guys are just ignoring it. And that's not, again, that's not your fault. That's something that's happening because of the team. And because of the lack of communication between you guys.
That's just like that's just a wraparound. Can we not comment on that one?
Yeah, we can ignore it. I thought you made a good play on that initially off the faceoff. Just whip that shit out of there. Instead of allowing him to knock the puck off your stick there like that, like he did, just rip it out. Like, don't even give it a chance. When you're like that
wait,
contested. Yeah, okay. We're gonna go back and look at it. Just really quickly, right there. I'll go back even a little bit farther because you need to kind of. So off the face-off here, you make a good play turning and reading that, and that's a great job. There, you just got to rip that out. Like you just miss it, which is the only thing. And again, like I don't even know is that Otto. Otto needs to be turning up. As soon as Otto sees you break that play up, he needs to turn up. But instead, he turns back, or he's still turning back. I understand why he's turning back here, but see, right there, you've broken up the play. But what does Otto do? He still skates directly towards you.
Yeah,
as soon as...
We've had like a bad tendency to all collapse into our zone.
Exactly. And we're a minute and 15 seconds in, and it's the same problem over and over again. If Otto turns up here and just starts going up for it, I mean, you have to get rid of this puck quickly because of the guy who's collapsing on you. You don't have a choice. You don't have the speed to stick handle this or anything. You just have to get rid of it. So part of that comes on you for just whiffing on it, I suppose. But that's something that, like, I don't expect you to do frequently, so I'm not going to harp on that. But, like, either way, Otto's not going to get that. At least he can pressure a dump if you were to get it off. I mean, he gets lucky here that you turn it over and he's, like, back there to attempt to make a play, but it winds up turning into a goal against anyway.
Yeah, I think, like, that goal specifically was a bit more of bad luck than anything bad we did.
Yeah.
Like, we did fuck up too, but, like, we were fairly unlucky on that one.
Yeah.
Like, that Gabe got in front of Jabba, like, behind the goal line. Anyways.
See, again, right there. All three of you are on top of each other.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. Is that you there on the board? Yeah, it is. All you need to do right here, like before.
I'm like close to the red dude.
Yeah, you're the one who's actually going to get the puck and play it. All you need to do there is just say, "I've got the puck." Like Jabba shouldn't be skating at you anyway. Look at Timu back in the zone. Why are Byrne and McJabba skating up at you in that situation? When Timu's back in the zone, they're skating up at you, and now you have 3 men on 1 dude. And now, again, this is another situation where, I mean, I guess, like, fine, McJava takes it, he's got the speed. You could have taken that just fine and been able to do the same thing with it. And you would have been safer having Timu covered and not all being in the same place. And again, it's hard to say because you don't get to see it happen, but how different would that play be if McJava was on the left boards, or left on the mini-map, and Byrne was behind you on the same boards? Even if you can't skate up, you can send it directly across to Jabba, who, if you watch the play develop, there's nobody over there to cover him. And Timu doesn't backcheck ever. Like, Timu's not gonna do anything. Like, you watch him, he just skates. He's a pylon out there on the back check. He doesn't try to knock it away from anyone's stick, he just skates. And half the time he doesn't even do that. So, but McJabba should be on those boards. You could pass it across to him, you could take a shot in, you could drop pass it back to Byrne to get a deeper shot off or something like that. Like, you could give yourselves options. And instead you don't.
Like, that's a big problem we have. Like, I talked to Jabba about this, like, just yesterday, I think. but like I don't really know how he bases his defensive positioning. Like I've traditionally played like on teams where like say I'd be lefty and I'd stay on the left side, and like if the puck is on the left side, I'll go up a bit more, and Jabba would stay back on the right side, and if it's on the right side, he'd go up a bit more.
See,
But
that's
like,
something you need to clarify with him, because like
yeah,
pretty much everything we've seen here, short of the one time where you were sitting in the middle, and just sitting in front of the net there. Pretty much everything we've seen here has just been a lack of coordination between you guys, and like
yeah,
that's all it is. It's not like you're incapable of playing in a team. It's the fact that your team is just not working together. What it looks like to me is it looks like a pub game. It looks like a pub game where all of you are just skating at the puck all the time.
yeah, yeah.
You're
I
not
mean, we're
trusting each
communicating
other.
about as much as a pub game.
Like those are the two things that need to change. Need to change. And if those change, you're going to see much better play from yourself and everyone around you. Like you don't need to touch the puck in order to make a good play, like or in order to do the right thing. Like doing the right thing more often than not is not touching the puck. Doing the right thing is just getting open. Like make yourself an opportunity. Like make yourself available for your teammate to get the puck over to. Like when you don't have the puck, you need to be a supporting cast to the person who does have the puck, and you guys
Mhm.
just aren't doing that right now.
Well said.
If you fix those two big things, the coordination, the communication, and the clumping between you guys, like that, it's gonna. I mean, I didn't really want to sit here and evaluate your team, but like that's the biggest problem here. It's not you. It's not you individually. So I just want to make sure like you understand that.
Yeah.
We can cut it off after the first period if you want. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm fine with whatever you like to do.
Okay. I just like we're already almost a half an hour in of actual video watching, and
Really?
yeah, we're 28
Really?
minutes. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep.
I guess you've been talking most, so it's been
That was a good
not
read
that
right
long
there. You
time.
played that puck well.
Doesn't that end up being an assist? Oh no,
It
Otto
would have
Otto just
if
fucks up completely.
Otto had a better shot there. It would have been an out play.
Yeah.
It's a good back check by Otto. You got bodied there in that play, so
Yeah, I
oh,
fall
what a
for
block.
bodies pretty easily. That was a good support decision by Otto there.
It was a good play by Otto. I just wish he had help on that play.
Ugh,
Like
it's so close.
go back and look at that. Look where the three of you are.
Yeah.
One of you can come up a little bit. Like it really should be the guy on the opposite side. So in this case, Burn, and then you would fill in his spot on the right side there, which I guess in your case is still the left side because you're on the blue team. But if you like move to where he is and he moves up a little bit, then when Otto gets this after like a couple seconds here, Otto picks this up and Burn doesn't skate up. Burn's so far back that
Gurn was even like
he
further
can't
back than me, I think.
the play at all. Like um it's kind of tough.
Like we were both trying to cover that red
Yeah,
floater.
which again, communication.
Yeah.
If one of you says I got it, the other one can start to get open for a pass. And that was a really good move by Otto trying to get through those three people. And
Yeah.
if he
And even
doesn't
like
miss that,
the backhand by Burn was a nice try.
yeah, if he doesn't miss that first shot where he just shoots it wide left of the net and he doesn't hit the crossbar there, then this game is 2-1 instead of being 3-0.
Yeah.
And that's a key swing. Because once they go up 3-0, the game is effectively over.
Yeah. For the most part. Like that was just bad.
So let's see where you guys are before this play happens. So
I don't know what the fuck I did there.
looks like you came up to help on the play offensively. Like you're coming up. Oh, okay. It looks
Okay.
like you're coming up to try and forecheck on him because you
Yeah.
probably didn't know that McJabba was going to make it around him to get the forecheck on. So you probably came up to try and play defense on him. But in all reality, like that's a really well placed pass by I think it was Timu actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really
Oh,
well placed
what a
pass.
surprise.
And honestly, I don't think Tickle should charge out on that. But
No.
that's
I
that's Tickle's decision, I guess. So I don't really think you did the wrong thing there. They
like
caught
in
you in a good
hindsight it was
breakout.
wrong.
Yeah,
Like
but it's impossible
yeah.
to know that, like, especially in that situation where there was that scrum on the boards like that. Like, it's one thing if you can tell one player is coming away with clean possession of it, then you move reactively towards that. But where McJabba was coming around him and everything like that, you don't know if that shot's going to get blocked or anything. Like, it's really hard to position
Yeah.
yourself accordingly for that. So in many cases or many situations, it's really just luck of the draw. And
Like, I think I was trying to get some momentum on that play too.
if you watch that pass, it goes like right past Otto. Like it's really really close. It's just it's a good play. It's a good play by Timu to get the puck across. I was actually very surprised at the fact that it was Timu. And it was a really nice play by Mr. U taking advantage of Tickle who's charging out. So Mr. U just keeps it low and takes a nice easy shot and scores. And like I said, instead of being 2-1, which it could have easily been, again, not really your fault anyway, instead of being 2-1, it's now 3-0. And at that point, especially, like, even though, like, yeah, it's early and you have plenty of time to come back, like, that's such a deflating way to start a game that it's really hard to get motivation back after that.
Like, unless Matt is playing.
Yeah. I hate the screen that Winters uses with a black background. That's really just obnoxious. So that's another situation. Same exact thing.
Yeah, I parked myself in front of the.
You park yourself in front of the net, but so does everyone else.
Yeah.
This is the second time in 3 minutes and 40 seconds of play that you guys have had 5 people around your own crease to their. And what happens again, like it did last time? The puck gets out to one of the 2 defensemen, and there's nobody back there to block it. And then what do you do? 3 of you go for it. Like 3 of you. So
yeah,
all it takes is just I've got this guy. You can go somewhere else. That's all it takes.
yeah, true.
It's not hard. You just have to talk. Then you're capable of doing that. And in reality, like knowing the rest of your team, you're probably gonna have to be one of the biggest proponents of this. Like you're gonna have to be one of the guys talking the most to get things going, because that's really important.
Well, rip Quebec then.
It'll be different when Matt's there because Matt talks a lot, but that's another part of the reason why Matt is so good is because he talks a lot. It's really easy for his team to play around him because his team always understands what he's doing, and he makes it very clear. Then he says things like, "I've got this puck, so you can back off," and that's what you do. And when you back off, you're in a better position. And now, if Matt can't,
things like go up or
yeah.
But
the reality is most players, even some of the really good ones, aren't able to micromanage the game to the point where they can tell you when to go up as well as dangy everyone on the other team and steal the puck away or whatever. Like it's incredibly difficult to do all of that. So to expect that of anyone is not necessarily acceptable or like realistic. But you can certainly do your part. You can certainly do your part, as can the rest of your team. And you guys have struggled with that so far.
Yeah, true.
So there. What?
I would like to know where our goalie is
So Ti-
before I have a comment.
okay.
Because I see myself backing
Like,
into the crease, which
so
I like.
here's where all 5 of you are literally at the
Yeah.
exact same spot,
This is the
which is
start of like our just
terrible
shit. Yeah.
on its own. Now, right there. Okay, so Tickle is still there.
I stay like in
Now,
my nanny space in front of the net
which in this situation is okay because Tickle's come
because Tickle
out
came out.
and
Yeah.
there's a guy in the though, which I'm gonna assume is Timo. I don't know who else it would be other
It's
than
not
Timo.
Gabe, so it's
Yeah,
definitely Timo.
it's definitely Timo because Trev Crow's on the left board. It's Mr.
Yeah, no,
U's
it
back.
is
Yeah, it's
Timo.
definitely Timo. So what you're doing in that situation is acceptable because there's a guy to cover there. So there's no reason to harp on that. And Otto and Burn are covering the 2 guys on the boards, which is actually good. That's fine. That's a good start to this. I don't know really like what Java's doing, skating into the boards over there, but you know, okay.
Java does what Java does.
Now Tickle finally skates back into the net. But look at how far out of the crease he is.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at the mini map, like you can't see him yet, obviously, but like
I'm
he's
closer
clearly
to-
out of the crease.
Like I'm more net than he is at that
Yeah.
point.
You're the one who's actually playing goalie, and Tickle is out in the corner. Like what?
Yeah. I think like.
And then
just
right
in
here,
general- Yeah.
you all skate away from it. Like,
You sound so disappointed.
it doesn't make any sense. Like, look at this. Like, Otto forces the turnover. Cool. Otto sees that one of you two, or like 2 of you, are skating for it, which in this case would be Java and Tickle, because Tickle doesn't go back in the net for some reason, and you're still in the net. Tickle should be going back in the net, and that should be you, but whatever. What really should be happening, I guess, is that you should be over on the left side where we talked about before,
Yeah.
like getting open in that corner, or even in the middle. Like you look at like Burn in the middle, he's wide open. Like go like
Yeah.
somewhere, just somewhere else. And
Well,
Tickle
like-
should be back in the net. Why is he not? In
Yeah.
the net? But I don't necessarily.
Anytime the goalie comes out, it just.
It's bad.
Like, for
It's
me,
bad.
It it's my biggest pet peeve with like anyone like playing this game like in a league game or
Tickle
even
is
in pub games.
Tickle is hugely at fault for this specific instance, as I think he was really on the second goal too, because he charged out. So like,
And like the worst part is Tickle is like one of the better goalies at coming out, and he still fucking sucks.
you can just take advantage of it. Like that's the thing. Like it's one of those
Mhm.
where it's a lot more effective against people that don't understand the game as well, and that's why you used to see it
Yeah.
a lot in old LHL, and you see it a lot in like the RSL and stuff like that. But it doesn't work in the current LHL anymore because most players are
Because
just
you
if
know
you
the
skate out
player,
at them,
like doesn't have the option to skate up with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
of the goalie.
like if you have the option there, if you're in a one-on-one with a goalie and he's skating out at you, like I can tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna just flip it over his stick if he's holding it on the ice, send it under his stick if he's holding his stick on the ice, or just deke around him. And most
Yeah.
goalies are awful at playing the puck on defense there
Yes,
on a
they
one-on-one. I
are.
mean, it's a very hard thing to do anyway for anybody, but most goalies are usually like awful at it. It's
Yeah.
very rare that you see a goalie charge out
Like-
and like poke check a puck away.
I don't want to name names, but a certain player who we usually call by 2 letters of the alphabet, who used to be in Quebec, and is PK. He would come out a lot, and it would get on my nerves. But then again, I didn't tell him, so
I think-
I'm as much as fault as he is.
The only time I think a goalie should be coming out is in a
If the
situation where like
defenseman
it's
is
behind the
getting
net
beat
and the
by
defense, yeah.
forward.
If the defenseman can't get to it, it's behind the net. The forward or whatever does not have possession of it, or you can interrupt his possession of it before he really gets a good handle on it. Then it's fine. Other than that, if a defenseman or another forward on your team can get there, just leave it for them. Like
Yeah.
they do that for a living. Like
Mhm.
every game
No,
they're
yeah,
out there
that's
playing the
thing
puck.
that like frustrates me a lot about some goalies. Like, they don't let the defenseman like do like what literally is 75% of our job.
Yeah. I blame Tickle for the second and the third goal here. So, or actually, it's this goal too, right? Don't they score here, or do they not score? I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway, go back to it though. Like, just we'll watch it through one more time. Like, just the communication, none. There's none.
Yeah.
There's absolutely none at any point during this play.
Like I'm still in goal right now. I've been in goal for like a full 10 seconds at this point.
Like, what? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And again, a lot of this play in there between you and Tickle comes down to Tickle. Like, he should be back there, not you still. But the McJaba and Otto play, like, they need to work that out. Like, they need to actually come out. You need to say, like, I've got the puck, or you take it, I'll go up and get open for a pass. And instead they both go get open for a pass.
Yeah.
And leave the puck for Tickle. Who's the goalie? Who's not in the net?
I think like at this point he's trying to skate back.
Yeah.
But then like the puck is just there
Like,
alone
what?
in the corner.
What?
Yeah.
These are the type of plays that are the reason why your team is struggling so much.
Yeah.
So, you see what you're doing here? Do you see where you are right there?
I'm on the left boards.
That is fantastic. That is what you should be doing. Tickle is right now on the ground behind the net. Otto's fine. McJaba's fine. Burns coming back to cover. Like, okay. Let's just point out, though. Tickle is on the ground behind the net. So, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know.
Let's just point out.
What are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't make any sense. But
Oh my god.
But whatever. Anyway, what you're
Whatever.
doing, the fact you're over there right now, like, by yourself, you have wide open space. That is beautiful. That is exactly what
Yeah.
you should be doing. And instead of making play, Otto winds up getting the puck taken away from him. We won't rip on him too hard for that. It was tight coverage. So right here, though, 3 of you are up. There's nobody on the lower right boards. Where is the only open spot on the ice right here? For the blue team, it's right boards.
Right.
If you're looking at the mini map where my mouse is on the recording, it's like the upper left of the map.
Of the mini map.
It's right there. There's a
Like-
wide open space there. If
This
Jabba,
is what makes me. Okay, no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, if Jabba is back there next to Burn, and Otto is where he is, and you're where you are, that's fine. That's a legitimate breakout pattern. Like, that's good. Because instead of forcing this down the middle to 2 people who are covered, Burn could have just gone over to the left to Jabba, and Jabba could just skate with it and do whatever. He could take a shot with it. He could pass it to one of you guys. If one of you gets open, he could pass it back to Burn. Like, he's got options. Instead, you guys don't give Burn any options. And I'm not going to necessarily blame like any one of you. Like, it really should be McJaba. Like, looking at this, McJaba should be the one back there, just sitting back. But like, it's such a pub game mentality of like,
Yeah.
I need to go forward and score a goal. Like, no, you don't. You need to give your teammates options and trust them with the puck. And Burn is forced to do that. He doesn't have a choice. He has to either take a shot or dump it in. That's the only thing he can do there.
This is like the thing that gives me a hard time with, like, as you said, putting myself like against the left boards, like skating up into a more offensive position, because I tend to be like the most defensive skater on every team I'm on, and therefore like people somewhat depend on me to like be back. And what I find that like whenever, and I already hear you like saying like, then you need to communicate that you need someone to cover. So I'm just gonna shut up.
Yes, like when you're coming up on a rush as a defenseman, you should say that. Like, that's something that I think Dick Dug's very good at. Even though like Dick Dug will hate me for saying this if he hears it. Like, I don't think Dick Dug is like got amazing mechanics or anything. Like, I don't think he's overwhelmingly talented with the puck. Like, he just isn't. Like, he's not bad by any means with the puck, but he's not the type of player who's gonna like danky anyone out necessarily, or he's not the type of player who's gonna rip nice backhanders like you are. Like, you have a bit more of a better refined
Technical
offensive skill set than he does. But the one thing he's fantastic at is every time he goes up to play the puck, he says in TeamSpeak, "I'm going up to play the puck." And then it's on the rest of your team.
Like, does he say that formally?
Yeah, he does.
I am going up to play the puck.
Yes. He says, "I,
Okay.
Dick Doug, Sir Richard Douglas, am skating up the boards, and I shall play this puck. Good day,
And therefore
sir.
request that someone on this team
I will formally
just
request
cover.
that a forward back check and rotate for me."
Yeah. Okay, I'll start doing that.
Yeah, that's what he does, and he tips his hat and he has a little cane, and it's
And
really
then he
cute.
scores.
So anyway, point being, he's one of the best people in the game at communicating that. And as soon as you've made that clear to your team, the rest of the responsibility of that play falls entirely on them, on their discipline and their attentiveness and awareness and willingness, I guess, to rotate back and cover for you and make the right play for the team. And right now, I'm going to put it more on McJob than anyone else. He's not making the right play for the team. So if we keep playing, it winds up being a turnover again because it's kind of forced because he doesn't have an option. And because all three of you skated up, Brian was left to play a 1-on-2 there, and thankfully they don't get anything out of it. So okay, so right there, just as like a little tip for you, like offensively, back it up, like right here. Okay, so
Okay.
come on, play a little bit. There we go. All right, so that gets sent up, and you missed the receive. That's fine. That's like that'll happen. Receiving from behind you is not easy.
No.
Right here, though, when Otto picks it up, you should skate over to the middle a little bit. You're the next closest person up, so you have all the right in the world to come up on this play with him. The fact that
Yeah.
Burn and Jabba come up, they really shouldn't. They're the two farthest back. They should take one, like, Burn should take his right boards, our left boards in the minimap, and Jabba should take the boards he's closest to as well. And then you can come in the middle. And if you do that, look at the space Otto has right now. Honestly, he could even do it here, but it's a bit easier if you're more lateral with him than if you're like that far behind him. If he could drop it to you, and
Well,
you've got to.
I think that's what I wanted him to do, which is why I was like somewhat behind him
Yeah.
and not as much mid.
You can be that far back, like that's not necessarily bad. Just get to the middle a little bit more, because that'll allow you to, if you're in the middle instead of right where like there, it gives him more space to pass to if that's what he chooses to do. If that makes sense. Like when you're in the middle, it's a lot easier for you to react to the pass rather than if you're right behind him like that, like right to his right. It's harder to make the pass that close, like right behind him accurately, and it gives you more space to work with if you're up the middle. That's really it
Okay.
there.
Okay. I
So
understand.
it's not like that big of a deal because either way you're open. And really, what he should have done is instead of trying to deke that guy, like if he just drops it to you, then Trev Crow is skating at the boards, and Otto can even take a body on it if he wants. Like we'll go back to it right here. If he drops it to you right there where he's deking, if he just pushes it to your stick and you
Yeah.
skate forward, it's a breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a breakaway. And again, like I think you should be a little bit closer to the center there maybe, but like given where you were coming from and everything, like the position you're in really isn't bad. Like that's just it's a big missed opportunity, which you guys had a lot of in the offensive zone. And
Yeah.
it felt like for every missed opportunity you had, there were two major breakdowns defensively that led to a goal. So
Like I think I often like unfairly like in my mind criticize others for like not doing what I want them to do, but like right there obviously the best play would have been like Otto like dropping it back to me.
So
But like
you
I
can
pretty clearly
let him know.
remember not saying,
Let him
"Yo,
know.
drop it back."
Let him know, like, real quick,
Yeah.
like, I'm wide open back right. And if he takes a look at his mini map, there's nobody that can cover him. Nobody. Or you, I mean. Nobody. It is just like, it is the freest of opportunities. So,
Yeah.
a little bit disappointing to miss out on that, but I can't really, like, fault you for anything there. Like, there's not really anything.
I definitely like should have said it out loud though.
Yeah, just let him know. Just let him know, and then if he chooses still not to go with it, then that's entirely his fault,
Yeah.
not yours. Oh,
Ugh.
almost got the
Ugh.
bounce in.
Did we get shut out this game? That's what I want to know.
I think I can look at the schedule honestly afterwards, but um, we'll end it here first period,
Yeah.
just because of
No,
like
this
it's
is very long.
been 50 minutes now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it has. So, um,
Well, thank you very much.
yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to help out. I wish we could have looked at more specifically for you, but I mean, it kind of confirms what I thought, which is that I don't think you have that many problems on your own. It's really the fact that your team has so many problems that it makes it hard to play in, and when your team can't communicate effectively, it's impossible to be your best. So
We lost 5-1.
the last thing I will say here is that it's fine to be in the middle against somebody like this that's going to sit deep where you're covering him there. But let's say, like, just for shits and giggles, that instead of Timu being in the middle there, Timu's like up across the boards from Gabe, like way up farther. You can come play on it. Like you tend to be, when you reset back to the defensive zone, I notice a tendency in you, like that safe spot. You like to be in that
Yeah.
triangle area, and I'll kind of draw it here on the replay, which you can't really see, but it's basically like
I know my
from the
triangle.
corners to where you are right now. Like, you know what it is. Like, you like to be in that area because that's where you feel
Yeah.
safest in, and that's
Like, I
fine.
feel like I have the ability to block more.
That's fine if you're
Yeah.
in this situation where there's somebody that far back there. But I noticed that you'll reset all the way back there, even when there's nobody like close to you that's going to be able to make a play. And there wasn't really a good example of it in the first period of this game, but I know it's something that you've dealt with in the past and that I don't think you've ever really corrected. And if
Nah,
there was
probably
one
not.
big thing to correct, that's what I would suggest, is that, like, try to break out of your comfort zone and play up a little bit more. Like I said earlier, take the open ice that's available to you. In that first example we looked at, where we talked about how you should have gone to the right corner, the upper right corner of the minimap, and gotten open there instead of sitting in front. You take Timo away, you put him up like close to McJabba, where he probably should be on a back check like this, honestly, and where most forwards would be. You can come up. You can come up closer to where Gabe is now, and like you'll still be close enough to him that you could make a play on it. You don't have to overskate him or anything, like keep him in front of you still, but you can come up where you can actually be a bit more beneficial on an offensive breakout, even from the defensive position there. And that's
I'd like to
something.
point out that like that is exactly what Gabe was trying to tell me on Ottawa.
It's really hard to do, and like I understand you feel safe in that zone,
Yeah, no.
and it's
I realize
something.
it's a habit. And
I think it's something that a lot of people developed from 4v4, because when you're the only man back, you're kind of relegated to a position like that. And it's something that I know
that's kind
Taze
of
did a
like,
lot, Tim did a lot.
yeah, Tim was
Yeah.
like the example.
T-Lures, when he plays defense now, does it a lot. Like, there's a lot of defensemen who played in 4v4 who still have that tendency. But the reality is, in 5v5, you're supposed to have people back there with you. So you don't have to cover the entirety of your defensive zone.
Wake up.
You stick to one side, and your defensive partner can stick to the other. And that's not necessarily a perfect example of what's going on here, but, like, again, take Timu out, you can skate up a little bit. You can skate up a little bit and maybe pick off a loose puck or a bad rebound or a pass to the center or a pass to the boards or something like that normally maybe Gabe would have picked up. Like, there are situations like that you can take advantage of. But a lot of that, and that sitting in front of the net when you don't need to, is really going to take a lot of work to break out of that, because it's habitual.
Yeah.
It's habitual. It's something you
Like
did
I've been
for
doing it since
a year
like
and a half.
season 2.
We had like a year and a half of 4v4 before we really went to 5v5. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at all surprised to see that it's still a tendency for you, but I think if you could like break out of that, that would be the best thing you could change about yourself personally, to make yourself a better defenseman in DLHL and in 5v5 play.
Well, thanks a lot, Dial.
Yeah.
I'm actually really touched that like you spent like an hour just sitting here watching clips of me to like because I was being annoying and being like, Dial, can you show me how to do backhands?
Honestly, I didn't find it annoying at all. I like doing stuff like this, so these are the types of things
You're
like
a weirdo.
I wish I could do full time. Like just things like this. Like I would love that.
You're like extremely good at it.
I appreciate it. And I hope other people feel the same way there. I gotta credit a lot of that to Delphin though. Like Delphin taught me so much about what the game is beyond just myself. So but yeah, it's share the knowledge as much as you can with your team, because that communication thing like just it makes me cry to see all 5 of you like that in one position. Like
Yeah.
you can show them the replay too if you want. Show them just like the screen caps of all 5 of you in one area. Like that's all it's gonna
Like,
take.
I'm like not. I'm kind of like a weird introverted guy. Like, I'm not good at like being a leader. So like,
You don't even have to.
just
You don't have to be a leader. Just be the person
like,
who speaks up.
well,
That's all you need to be.
that's my definition of a leader.
So okay. Okay.
Let's just grunt.
Okay. Alright, that's fair. You can do this. I believe in you. I know you can. Like I know you're
God.
I'm not saying like
How
just
is
speaking
this an
up.
after school special?
I'm not saying like speaking up, but I'm just talking about like your team in general. Like you guys all have like a ton of talent, even without Matt. Like you guys have a talented roster. You're capable of playing way better than what you've shown in this 1-7 start.
I agree.
But it's not going to fix itself. And that's my
I
point
also
here.
agree.
It's not going to fix itself, and somebody at some point is going to have to speak up. And why I'm saying like I believe that you can do it is because I don't know that anyone else will.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we'll end it here.
Damn. Thanks, Dal.
Yeah, no problem, man.